I work as a dental assistant. I've published my own children's book, and I have had epilepsy since I was 16. That's when I was diagnosed. I had a seizure. I woke up. It was a nocturnal one. And I woke up and there was like paramedics in my room. I had no idea what happened. I blacked out and I just woke up to people in my room. I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I had a second seizure because obviously the first one, they were like, okay, it's just one.
Yeah.
Then the second one, I had it. And that's where like, okay, she is epileptic. My seizures started off nocturnal at first, and then over time they started changing. I would at first I would have auras. At first, when I had my first aura, I was like very scared. I had like this panicky feeling, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like felt like something very bad was gonna happen. And then I just would, prepare myself over time, experiencing auras. I was like, okay, this is part of, you know, my experience with epilepsy now.
Right.
And then over time, my seizures started changing. They weren't nocturnal anymore. Like I would start remembering the sensation when I would have a seizure. And I will end up being hospitalized because obviously you can't.
Right.
It's like like they would be so long that I would just like I would have to go to the hospital. And then over time, once like I guess I started like just experiencing them more, I would become more aware of how to deal with them. So I would get more used to the auras, and then I'll be like, okay, I have to relax now. I have to like sit down somewhere to not get a full blown like grand mal.
So did the intensity or the severity of your seizures increase or decrease over time?
They've actually decreased.
Okay, that's good.
Over time. Yes, they have decreased over time because I feel like I have just become more aware of my triggers. So the more aware I became with my triggers, the more I have been able to, I've been able to manage myself.
So when you say triggers, do you mean like environmental factors, emotional factors?
Okay, so for me, I have a few triggers. For me, environmental, it can be hot. For me, being too hot is definitely a trigger for me.
Right.
Emotionally, I can't be too anxious. Stress, obviously, it probably is the biggest trigger for me. I can be stressed out and immediately start having like an aura right then and there.
Okay.
Yes. Missed medications. If I go obviously don't go like a day or two without my meds, but if I were to happen to forget to fill my scripts and I go a day without them or two, I will start feeling symptoms. Like I'll start getting a small aura. My menstrual cycle, that I can say like I'm not feeling it as much. I do feel like a little slight aura right before I like just like a numbing of my lip. Like I can feel just a little numbing of my lip. Like that's how I know it's a sign that I'm about to get my menstrual cycle.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's literally all I get at the moment. Before, they used to be much worse. I would like lose concentration. I would get blurry vision. But now at the moment, all I feel is like the numbing of my lip. Before, like my auras, when they used to be really bad, I would get like numbness all throughout my left side. Like my arm would get numb, my face would get numb. But now I'm not feeling that as much anymore.
So symptom severity has also decreased over time?
Yes, they have.
Okay. So factors can vary for different people, and I think like severity can also vary for different people. So while yours has gotten better, someone else's might have gotten worse as they progressed. Is that right?
It can, I believe so. Yes, I'm haven't done the research, but I believe, yes, that has, it could
That it
definitely
just
have
kind of
something
varies
to
from
do.
person to person.
It does vary from person to person.
Okay. So
Yes.
do you have seizures frequently or not?
Uh, so I haven't had a grand mal seizure. I can't tell you the last. I don't remember. It's been years
Okay.
since I've had a seizure where I have lost consciousness.
Okay.
I haven't had, yes. The last one, it was on a plane. And I feel like the change in pressure, the change in,
Yeah.
and and it ascending was just
Yeah.
too much for my body at the moment. And I was tired. It was like a 3 in the morning flight. So the
Yeah.
lack of sleep could have also played a part in why I had it. I honestly lost consciousness for like a day. I don't remember much of that episode, but from what I was told from like my mom, she was there, and she said that I was just having like seizures that wouldn't stop. I I ended up going to the hospital because I was like it didn't stop and I was scared.
Right.
And I went to the hospital and they just put me in the emergency room. They laid me down. And as soon as I went there, someone was like, oh, relax, breathe. And as soon as they said that to me, they literally just told me to breathe. And I was like, okay. I don't know why. I just like immediately like calmed down. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I just like, okay, I can calm down. And I just like stopped the seizing. But they cut me there because like they didn't want me to experience more.
Right.
I was
So
like,
yeah.
that was- after that, I really didn't, I haven't experienced like much grand mal seizures. Like I experienced the one on the plane because of the ascending feeling, which was like as my I was tired and just the change in altitude. But after that, I kept remembering that in my brain, like I can just breathe
Right.
and I
Yeah.
can just like come back to the moment. And after that, it was just like something like, I guess like something in my brain just
Yeah.
like
Something like just a
clicked.
switch. Yeah.
It's like clicked. And I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, I can get a hold of myself somehow.
Yeah. Well, that's
Hmm.
really amazing. Yeah. So
Yes.
in your daily life, have you made a lot of accommodations or would you say lifestyle changes to deal with being epileptic?
I have. I really have. I try to just like be as calm as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I try and really, obviously you can't avoid stress, but obviously we have to not stress as much as
Right.
we possibly, can.
Yeah.
So I try not to overwhelm myself with things that I can't control.
Okay. Yeah.
I I used to smoke, marijuana because
Mm-hmm.
marijuana is something that's, helps people
Yeah.
with epilepsy, but I don't do that anymore. I never really drank alcohol. I mostly drink water. That's like literally all that I drink.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just don't like I don't go out and like to places where like I know there's gonna be like flashing lights and stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I know are gonna trigger me. And I really just try to be as like
Kind of calm as
calm,
possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
calm as possible because I've noticed that that is what's helping me.
Right.
Yes.
So since you did mention that you have a lot of like environmental triggers, and if you feel comfortable, would you mind, kind of telling, has epilepsy affected your professional life in any way? Like, has it prevented you from having a desk job, all that?
Um, I mean, there are times, okay, so I do have my, career. I'm a dental assistant. And there are times where I can be forgetful.
Okay.
I can't help that I'm forgetful. It's just part of, I feel like that's just part of like, the side effects of the medication, especially so, over time for so long. And obviously having seizures affects your brain
Yeah.
over time. But, people, I feel people are understanding and they do help. So I can't say that I mean it does, but it doesn't affect me because people do understand what it is that I'm dealing with.
Right.
Yeah. So
do you think that there are any, like, when it comes to in terms of understanding epilepsy, are there any major misconceptions that people might have about it?
Yes, there is. I believe that cause I feel like there is more awareness of it now than when I obviously first had it, because I was, confused as to what it was when I first experienced it. But when it comes to people thinking about epilepsy, I feel like people just take it as something that someone is like I can't say that they believe that people with epilepsy are stupid. I hate to say that word, but it's like some people will treat you like you're dumb or not fully
Competent.
yes, competent, only because we are forgetful.
Right.
I feel like the hardest part of dealing with it is because we are forgetful at times, but that doesn't mean that we're not intellectual. We don't comprehend things. We just have our moments where we just I feel like if we start overthinking at times and I get too much, get too in our heads, that is what like causes us to be forgetful, because we are overthinking and probably doing too much at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, because we are in a way like doubting ourselves.
Right. So in dealing with, people might be like discriminating against you because they don't think you're as, as, I don't want to say it right, but as on that level as them, or just dealing with misconceptions. Do you have any advice for anyone who might be in a similar position as you as to how they would, go about dealing with those kind of things?
I mean, I would just say to um I mean, people just say they aren't as educated as to what you're dealing with. So just you can brush it off.
Right.
You can brush it off, or because you can't stress yourself out
Right.
to what other people understand. And if you just like you can't, if they don't want to learn about something, then don't
Bother, right?
in a way, yes, you can
Right.
try your best to keep to bring awareness about it, and just don't let yourself get overwhelmed with how other people react to how you are when you in a way understand how it is. I mean, I feel like the community gets it, like us epileptics get how it is, like we understand each other. We
Right.
know what it's like to deal with it. We know what it's like to deal with people who don't understand our perspective of things. So we should just okay, like the way I kind of don't understand you, you don't understand me. So
Right.
let's just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Right. So you can try to educate people, you can try to make them aware, but you can't, force them to understand, right?
Yes, I think over time people will just get that this is who you are. So they're just
Right.
like, okay, this is what we have to,
Yeah. Yeah.
put up with. We have to deal with this.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
do you have any, words of advice for people who might have people they know or like siblings or family members who are epileptic?
Well, in a way, you can try your best to educate them about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like some people they just in a way they're never gonna
They
get
just
it because they're not dealing with it.
right. Yeah.
They're not the ones in your shoes, so they're never gonna fully understand
Yeah.
or see things from your perspective.
Yeah. So
Maybe
yeah.
someday it'll click for them, but you just have to let go. You can't try to control everything.
Yeah. So, other people can try to be as understanding and sympathetic as possible just because they don't fully understand what another person might be going through.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was really nice to talk to you. Thank you. Like, it's honestly, I didn't know so much about epilepsy before, but um, I had my misconceptions too, and you actually cleared those up very well. So it was really great to talk to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
It
of
was nice
course.
talking to you.
Mhm.
Okay, hope we talk again someday.
Of course. Yeah. I'll see you.